The story begins with a young high school student called Arata Hinohara. We see him getting ready for school and talking to his mom and sister before he leaves. They are worried about him because he is a very kind and nice kid, but he is bullied a lot, and making friends is a bit difficult for him. In school, Hinohara is shown to be a great athlete, but that doesn't stop his school bullies from harassing him even more, and also turning one of his only friends against him. At the same time as all this is happening, we get introduced to a faraway magical land called Emoakuni. It is a world very much different from our own. There we are introduced to another young man called Arata, who is part of the Haim clan, a tribe with great importance. He was raised as a girl as the tribe consists of only women. As preparations for a sacred ceremony are on their way, Arata needs to step up. He needs to pretend to be a woman at the ceremony and fool the princess and the 12 Shinsho elite warriors. This doesn't go as planned, as the princess is killed and Arata is framed for her murder. Now he is on the run, scared and afraid. At the same time, so is Hinohara. He is running away from his school and life in general. At that moment, they both wish to be somewhere else, and a magical forest causes them to swap places in their worlds. They both retain their bodies and mind, but they have completely swapped worlds and identities. Hinohara is terrified and confused as he is being hunted in this strange new world. He meets up with Kadoha and he tries to explain who he is. Kadoha takes him to the village elder where they try to figure out what has happened. At that moment, Kanagi, one of the Shinsho warriors, shows up to capture Hinohara. He takes Kadoha hostage, and in that moment, Hinohara ignores his insecurities and prepares to fight. In that moment of bravery, he picks up a sword that powers up with fire and is revealed to be the Heigami, called Tsukuyo. Hinohara has awakened an ancient power and is able to defeat Kanagi and his Souliders. They manage to successfully escape and hide out in a cave. Kanagi is left confused by the battle as he has never seen such power. On the other hand, Hinohara starts to feel guilty because he took the place of the original Arata and he might never return. While the village elder Makari stays in the cave, Kadoha goes looking to comfort Hinohara. They talk and Kadoha gives him a necklace he said he lost. Meanwhile, Kanagi finds Makari and uses her as a hostage. When Hinohara notices this, he surrenders. He is then captured and put in a carriage. While he is alone in the carriage, the necklace starts to glow, and this gives him a way to contact Arata from this world. Arata tells Hinohara that he witnessed the assassination attempt on the princess. Hinohara arrives at the trial and he is sentenced to be exiled to Gatoya, a place of nightmares. Hinohara communicates with the spirit of the princess and she explains the sword and its powers. She tells him he has now become a Shinsho and that he has the power to change this world. Because of his past experiences and bullying, Hinohara doesn't believe her and he is confused by his newfound position. After some time, Hinohara realizes that while Kadoha is at his side fully, most of the nation hates him because they still think he was responsible for the princess's death. He and Kadoha try to remain hidden while they are on Gatoya. Through their journey, Kadoha befriends two people named Kanate and Jinchai. Because of the rumor that Arata murdered the princess, they attack Hinohara and he is forced to defend himself. He manages to escape alongside Kadoha, but they are separated when suddenly a piece of Gatoya starts to crumble and collapses around them. Both Kanate and Jinchai get captured by the terrifying warden Tsutsuga. They must duel until one of them is defeated and then they will be judged. Jinchai gets possessed and attacks Kanate with no mercy. Meanwhile, Kadoha and Hinohara are making their way through a complex maze. They are trying to get out. After several failed attempts, they finally arrive at the arena where Jinchai and Katane are fighting. Katane is holding back and doesn't want to fight, but he has to defend himself. Hinohara is reminded of how his own friends back home also turned on him easily. Jinchai goes for a final swing, but Katane knocks him out. At that moment, Warden Tsutsuga declares both of them criminals and to be terminated. Hinohara tries to fight Tsutsuga but is overpowered because his Heigami sword won't activate. He starts to give up but then sees Kataha and remembers that everyone is counting on him. This allows him to activate his sword and defeat Tsuruga, but the warden doesn't go lightly. He tries to use his demon Heigami but ultimately fails. For a moment, Hinohara understands Tsuruga because he too was betrayed by his friend. Back in modern Japan, we see how Arata is getting used to living the life of an ordinary high school student. Hinohara's family knows something is wrong but they are playing along hoping he gets better. In the land of Emoakuni, Hinohara and the crew are slowly making their way towards the capital. Their goal is to clear his name and try to save the entire land from going into chaos. But first they need to pass 12 domains which mirror the 12 Shinsho who rule over each one of them. They first pass through the domain called Narutaki. Along their way they meet a village and they discover others have similar powers to Hinohara. Akachi, one of the most powerful of all the Shinsho, is going around and gathering followers. He has already killed many who did not join him. Hinohara and his friends witness firsthand just how cruel Akachi is. They see him killing Fuyo, one of the show, without mercy. He was loyal to Kanagi the Shinsho who was hunting Hinohara at the start. When Kanagi finds out, he goes into a rage and attacks Akachi with his powers. While Kanagi is powerful and fast, the battle doesn't last long as he is no match for the deadly Akachi. He doesn't kill Kanagi but spares him so he can carry that shame forever. After the battle, Hinohara is angry and confused. He hates Akachi but also doesn't want to become ruthless and a killer to defeat him. At that moment it is revealed that Hinohara might be able to use an ancient Heigami called Tsukuyo to defeat Akachi without killing him, a power that will bring justice to the land. We see how Arata is handling life in Hinohara's modern world. With his parents covering for him losing his memory, he goes back to school. He tries to befriend and fit in with the people that bullied and harassed Hinohara. Meanwhile, in Amawakuni our group is continuing their journey. Kadoha injures herself and needs to rest. This leads to Hinohara and Arata communicating again. When Hinohara learns that Arata has been going to school, he panics thinking of the mess that awaits him when he gets back home. But the calm journey is interrupted when Kanagi, who has been stalking the group for a while, attacks. He uses his flame powers to attack Hinohara but accidentally. Kadoha gets caught in the middle of the attack and is trapped by flames. This reminds Kanagi of his past and his love Emisu. She died in a fire and Kanagi was too late to rescue her. In that moment, he decides to save Kadoha and not to make the same mistake twice. The group is quite shocked by Kanagi coming to Kadoha's rescue, so for a moment, they all agree to a temporary truce. We transition to Japan and see Arata trying to handle his school life. After school, he sees the friend who betrayed Hinohara. He apologizes for turning against him but he feels he had no other choice as he was scared of Kadawaki, the main bully who makes Hinohara's life hell. Arata decides to talk to Kadawaki but that doesn't go well. After that, Kadawaki is in such a rage-fueled state he is also transported into the land of Amawakuni. His only goal is to kill Hinohara. Meanwhile, we see Kanagi slowly start to understand and connect to Hinohara. We learn that the group will be hunted even more now as the rulers have realized Hinohara is not of this world and he must be stopped. Kadawaki arrives in Amawakuni and he has a weapon of Orochi. He is enraged and out of control. This was a desperate attempt from those who wished to get rid of Hinohara, and while he is more confident in himself because of all the adventures, when he realizes Kadawaki, his high school bully, has arrived, he turns right back into that scared high school student. He thought, at least in this strange land, he was safe from him, but not anymore. Kadawaki screams at him, telling him it is his personal mission to make his life here a living hell. Hinohara doesn't know how to handle this, so he goes into a rage and unleashes his powers without control. He causes massive damage, after he realized that for a moment he acted just like Kadawaki. Because of all the stress, Hinohara finally wants to explain everything to Kadoha and reveal that he truly isn't Arata and that Kawaki is also from his world. He decides he wants to better himself and he even trains with Kanagi so he can get stronger. Hinohara and his group make their way to a city that is ruled by Haruko. They cannot enter the city because of their lack of money, so they get help from a mysterious man named Suryo. He has plans of his own for the group. The city is giant and full of life. We see Kanagi has to hide his identity so they don't get into trouble. Suhiro shows the group around the city and explains its history and how it operated in the past in contrast to how it is in the present. Meanwhile, Kadawaki tries to form an alliance with Akachi but he refuses, deeming him unworthy. Akachi then stabs Kadawaki with a spear in the eye. Hinohara and Kadoha spend some time together training before Kadoha is kidnapped by an unknown water force. They find that Uranami has kidnapped Kadoha and wants to fight Hinohara to honor his mother. Meanwhile, we see the aftermath of Akachi and Kadawaki's confrontation. It seems that Akachi offered one of his eyes to Kadawaki to make him stronger. Now Kadawaki has even more power than before. The fight between Hinohara and Uranami is interrupted when Kadawaki suddenly shows up, stopping the fight as he is the only one allowed to defeat Hinohara. Uranami creates an illusion pulling both of them into a strange dimension. He traps Hinohara in his memories, reliving his childhood trauma and fears. This is all a way to have Hinohara sumbit and give up. For a moment Hinohara seems to give up until a voice brings him back. His love for Kadoha helps him get free of the illusion and defeat Uranami once and for all, restoring order in the city. The celebration is interrupted when Kadawaki shows up again ready to finally defeat Hinohara. Kadawaki accuses Hinohara of being a demon and hating him. He wants to finally fight him and defeat him one and for all. His Orochi blade evolves. This is what the rulers wanted, the two legendary blades fighting. Kadawaki attacks with a devastating attack causing a massive explosion. Hinohara tries to run to safety but Kadawaki just keeps on unleashing attacks. Kadoha remembers what Hinohara said about his life in Japan and just how much he struggled. She asks Kanagi to help, but he refuses as this is Hinohara's fight. The fight rages on with both of them having massive power surges. The clash and Hinohara is barely holding on. At that point he remembers all the friends he made and the love he found on this adventure. Also, Lord Uranami decides to give his power to Hinohara to help him win. With all that power, he is finally able to overpower Kadoaki and truly unlocks the full potential of his blade and power. Kadoaki runs away, and while he respects Hinohara more after the battle, his goal still remains to defeat him one day. Kadoa and Hinohara prepare for their next adventure, and Hinohara declares that he will save Omowakuni and its people. That is his mission now, and this brings the anime to an end. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on another video. Until next time, take care.